That's 90 million slices of bread per day. 630 million slices of bread per week. 37,760,000,000 slices of bread per year. How much land must we have under wheat cultivation to give our people their daily bread? Then he said, move on to milk. How much land must we have? How many cows must we own? How much grazing land must we have to give our people a glass of milk with every meal? How many sheep must we have, and how much grazing land must we have to give our people a lamb chop? I didn't say pork chop. Lamb chops. Ain't got to rob nobody. You gotta own the means of production. Then all your businesses will spring up. How much land must we have to give our people a requirement of spinach or broccoli or carrots, cauliflower, onions, garlic, string beans? All the things that help us to feed ourselves come from the land. How much land must we have? We've got to know just what it takes to feed an entire people. That means we are independent. We've taken our stomach away from our enemies. How much clay land must we have in order to make bricks, to start building houses? How much forest land must we have to cut down the trees and make wood to build homes? We have to have land, and there is no compromising this.
Defending black women and black children and black babies and black men.
The truth must be recognized by the black man. But the word economics comes from the Greek eikonomikos, but it has come to be defined as the science of production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services, or the material welfare of humanity. Now, a blueprint is something defined that acts as a plan, a model, or something providing guidance. An economic blueprint is exactly what we need.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Doctor, you in the house? Lawyer, you in the house? Teacher, you in the house? Preacher, you in the house? Tell me something. If you don't eat well, how long will you practice law? If you don't eat well, you become the patient, doctor. So don't look down on a farmer, look up to a farmer, because today it will be us farming our own land, producing our own food that will save our lives. It hurts me to travel and see us so dependent on others for the basic necessities of life, when the richness of our land is there to produce all that we need and then some.
Defending black women and black children and black babies and black men.
The truth must be recognized by the black man. We are an international people. Our brothers and sisters are all over the world desirous of doing business with us. But if we are not producing anything, we can't enter into trade and commerce with the nations of the earth. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad wrote in Message to a Black Man, quote, as a people, we must become producers and not remain consumers and employees. We must be able to extract raw materials from the earth and manufacture them into something useful for ourselves. This would create jobs in production. We must remember that without land there is no production, and the surplus of what we produce we would sell. This would help develop a field of commerce and trade as other free and independent people whose population is less than that of ours, so-called Negroes. The truth must be recognized by the black man.
We're talking about revolution because that's the era that you're caught in. You're caught in a revolutionary era.
Defending black women and black children and black babies and black men.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad outlined some basic principles. Number one, recognize the necessity for unity and group operation. Do you understand that if we can work together as a group in unity, we will be more successful, more powerful, more able to do the things that as individuals working by ourselves we have never been able to do. Pool your resources physically as well as financially. Stop wanton criticism of everything that is black owned and operated. Keep in mind that jealousy destroys from within. Observe the operations of the white man. He is successful. He makes no excuses for his failures. He works hard in a collective manner. You do the same. Now, these are things that we must do. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad asked us to commit to save 5 cents a day. He said if we can save just 5 cents a day from our wages, 25 cents a week for 52 weeks in the year, that would mean we would put aside $13 a year that we could save in a national savings treasury. At that time that he wrote this, we numbered 22 million people and approximately 5 million were wage earners. Well, if 5 million wage earners save $13 a year, this would mean 65 million saved out of our wages in 1 year. At the rate of 25 cents per week, it would be painless. Today, brothers and sisters, don't you think we can do better than what we were asked to do 48 years ago? According to government statistics, there are a little over 16 million blacks employed at some level. Well, look what happens if we raise the economic bar and contribute the same nickel a day. The truth must be recognized by the black man.
Defending black women and black children and black babies and black men.
Greetings, beloved family. I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. I bear witness that there is but one God. Welcome to the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM. I am Brother David Muhammad. And I'm going to be in studio with you up to 9 o'clock this morning on this beautiful Saturday morning, July 26th, 2025. And in a short while from now, I will open up the telephone lines and take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391. And you can send WhatsApp messages directly to me on 3320214. And you can follow us on our social media pages in studio. Now, beloved family, so much to talk about. I've been overseas for the longest period. It's been 8 weeks that I could remember in the last, I don't know, honestly, since the 1990s, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, both 98 and 99, I think. But I'm back, and I'm here, not going anywhere for a while. You know what a while means, but and my focus is 100% on the 125th anniversary of Pan-Africanism, which we will be celebrating tomorrow at the Kwame Ture Center from 12 noon. This is something that you want to be a part of. Beloved, "125 years of Pan-Africanism being celebrated this week all around the world." I was honored to be part of the Central Committee for the filming of a documentary in England over the past week, which hopefully we will get to show at the Kwame Ture Center when it's released for either late October or for Black History Month in November. Produced by our great brother Stephen Golding, the son of former Jamaican Prime Minister Bruce Golding and the president of the UNIA, Marcus Garvey's organization. This was such an incredible experience to be in conversation with some of these most brilliant minds and activists from around the world. The professionalism of the film crew, the amount of content, the substance that was shared, the footage that was recorded, it was so incredible. So we were at the different venues that were used 125 years ago for this conference. Now, I said that this will be celebrated all over the world, but it is of specific importance to Trinidad and Tobago because we are the home, the birthplace of the man who started this great movement. In the year 1900, July 23rd, 24th, and 25th, this great attorney at law, born in Arouca, Trinidad, by the name of Henry Sylvester Williams, was able to bring together in the district of Westminster, near the Parliament in central London, delegates from almost 30 countries around the world, 37 delegates, before there was any kind of modern communication systems or technologies. A day and a time when we were simply writing letters to communicate with people on the other side of the planet, and even waiting weeks and months for responses. Henry Sylvester Williams of Trinidad and Tobago was able to convene this conference. It was the world's first ever Pan-African conference. And from there, you had an entire ripple domino effect of consciousness gatherings that came out of that great event. Now, at our 125th anniversary celebration at the Kwame Ture Center tomorrow, July 27th, we are going to be looking at what came out of that conference, in particular the Manchester Conference of 1945, which was that forum where, again, another great Trinidadian was involved, George Padmore, which was the brainchild of Africa's independence, starting with Ghana in 1958. All of this philosophy that was shared, starting off with this Trinidadian who had a newspaper and an editor, African Muslim from the Sudan, Deuce Muhammad Ali, who hired a young assistant editor from Jamaica who was Marcus Garvey. And Marcus Garvey went on to, of course, lead the UNIA and start the largest black organization in America. So the roots of the 1900 Pan-African Conference reached so far and wide. W.E.B. Du Bois was there as well, who was the first black PhD in America. Now, I want you to think on this for a moment. This man, and I met a magnificent brother by the name of Dr. Jack Oluwe. Imagine I meet this man in England and we're talking. And I'm explaining, saying, well, you know, I'm telling him about Trinidad's historical heritage. I'm saying, there's a plaque here in London for George Padmore. And he said, yes, I put it up. I said, really? Wow. And there's one for Claudia Jones. I said, yeah, I put it up. And Kwame Ture. This man runs an organization that honors great black heroes in England and gets plaques, either streets named, districts named, community acknowledgement. And I think he did approximately 160 of these plaques, a number of them Trinidadians. And I'm thinking, right here in Trinidad, most of us, and I'm ashamed to say, even our politicians, many probably don't even have a clue who Henry Sylvester Williams is. Credit to the Freedom Roads Project, who that Milner Hall at the University of the West Indies, when there was campaigning to get the name changed, the same group that wanted to remove the Columbus statues, the proposal was to rename Milner Hall at the University of the West Indies the Henry Sylvester Williams Hall. And I don't even think they agreed to that. But let's focus a minute on how great this man was, Henry Sylvester Williams, because prior 10 years to that first Pan-African Conference, he started the Elementary Teachers Union in Trinidad, which would have morphed eventually into what became TUTA, the Teachers Union. He started the Teachers Union in Trinidad, went on to study law, went over to England, started Pan-Africanism, and he was a Trinidadian, the first black lawyer in South Africa from 1903 to 1905. South Africa, which went on to introduce this apartheid system with the English and the Dutch going in and setting up one of the world's worst cases in history of institutionalized racism. It was a black man from Trinidad who went over there and became a lawyer, successfully practiced for 2 years, and then the white lawyers formed an association and collectively launched a complaint about him, saying that he was stirring up discontent among the black population in South Africa for the white man, simply because he was speaking out against evil and injustice of, again, what became the apartheid system. Comes back to England, and he was a spokesperson for the Church of England Temperance Society, the Gray's Inn. He was a philosopher. He was a musician. And you know what's really deep about this as well? I heard a news item just in passing You know, sometimes you just catch a little bit or a piece of a headline story about the Trinidad and Tobago hockey team not being able to participate in some event coming up. I heard about the Pan Am Games, that for the first time in however long, we won't be participating on whatever level it is. But I heard a story about the hockey team, the national hockey team, not being able to participate and represent Trinidad and Tobago. Again, even more shameful, because Henry Sylvester Williams of Trinidad started the Colored Hockey League in England, which ran for almost 40 years. He used to play hockey as well. And because of the racial discrimination, not wanting black players on white teams, he started a league for black people. And it didn't just run for 1 or 2 seasons, almost 40 full years. Henry Sylvester Williams of Trinidad was also one of the first 2 black men to be elected into public office in local government elections in England. Again, why don't we know this? Why don't we have this kind of information? It was Henry Sylvester Williams of Trinidad and a man by the name of John Archer from Barbados. Henry Sylvester Williams went on to become the first black elected official, period, in all of England, him and Archer. But he was in the district of Marylebone in London, where there is this plaque for him, 38 Marylebone Road. And John Archer became the first black mayor in England. He was the mayor of the district called Battersea in London, in England. Now, it was not just Henry Sylvester Williams. He had 4 other colleagues around the same time, late 1800s, early 1900s. There was J.J. Thomas, Trinidadian, who was the first black man in the Western Hemisphere to publish a book. He wrote Fraudacity, which was a challenge of claims of white supremacy and black inferiority in academics. He also wrote Creole Grammar, talking about language structures of different cultures having their own syntax and grammatical rules. You had Edgar Murray Smith. Edgar Murray Smith was another conscious attorney at law who campaigned in Trinidad in the late 1800s for Emancipation Day to become a public holiday. That was the year 1888 for the 50th anniversary of emancipation in Trinidad. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago went on to become the first country in the world to declare Emancipation Day a public holiday, which was in 1985, when August the 1st replaced the last time we would have celebrated Columbus Day, or so-called Discovery Day, July 31st, 1984. But that campaigning started 100 years earlier with Edgar Murray Smith. You had Emmanuel Mzumbo Lazare. Again, from the history that was shared by Professor Tony Martin before he had passed, Emmanuel Mzumbo Lazare was, again, attorney at law. These are black people whose parents were enslaved. Mzumbo Emmanuel Lazare was a lawyer who used to wear proudly African clothes. Listen, we're talking about the 1800s. The great Bishop, Reverend Douglin, again, Christian preacher who was revolutionary in his approach to teaching his congregations about the true history of the African heritage of the prophets of God. All of these were contemporaries of Henry Sylvester Williams, long before C.L.R. James and George Padmore. And they would have laid a foundation not just for consciousness in Trinidad and Tobago, but consciousness across the world. And again, here we are, 125 years of Pan-Africanism. There are going to be acknowledgements in America, in Canada. We just did the filming of the documentary in England. There's going to be acknowledgements in France, in Sierra Leone, Liberia, Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa, Ethiopia. Part of the committee was the great-granddaughter of another person who's considered one of the fathers of Pan-Africanism, Edward Wilmot Blyden, who was part of the Back to Africa movement that started Sierra Leone as a country, free town, where Africans from the West, from America and the Caribbean, will go back to Africa to settle and live in both Liberia and Sierra Leone. And we had the granddaughter, the great-granddaughter of Edward Wilmot Blyden, who, interestingly, and I'll talk more about this tomorrow, inshallah, but he wrote a book entitled Islam, Christianity, and the Negro. This is late 1800s. And he spoke about black people's natural gravitation to Islam as a solution to the colonial oppression that we were experiencing as a people. Again, late 1800s. This is even before the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad began teaching black people Islam. It was seen that there's something about Islam that could liberate black people. And on the African continent, from that side, many people see Edward Wilmot Blyden as a father, as a pioneer of Pan-Africanism. And he would have had roots in the district known today as the U.S. Virgin Islands. Even the first black Freemason movement, the St. Paul's Masonic Lodge, the black Freemasons, Prince Paul, was born in Barbados. Did you know that the first black man in America to have a pilot's license was a Trinidadian? His name was Herbert Fauntleroy Julian. Now, all of this is encapsulating in 125 years of Pan-Africanism, and tomorrow, 12 noon, at the Kwame Ture Center, we have an entire mind-blowing discourse to share. We want to urge you to come out tomorrow. Bring the family, bring the young people. The young people are the ones who need to hear this. Because the old people, when they hear this, especially those in elected offices in politics, pretend that they don't know. Or they're so afraid of being accused of being too radical or too revolutionary or too conscious that they shy and have been shying away from this kind of information. But we have to inject that kind of consciousness in the minds of our children. Speaking of our children, I'm going to be at the Kwame Ture Center this morning. We have the Boys Academy running. I'm doing a session with the boys this morning. Every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock in the morning, they get free breakfast, and then from 10:30, our session starts. We must give knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the next generation. But my key point is that you have this 125th Pan-Africanism acknowledgement all over the world, and Trinidad and Tobago should be the center focus point. Apart from London, England, where the conference took place and where the 37 delegates from all around the world convened, apart from there, and we had some of the black members of parliament in England involved in the project as well, the bishop of the district in the Anglican Church, where the second day at a place called Fulham Palace, they used that hall, the same venue. And now, because I was there 2 days ago, they've transformed that venue where Henry Sylvester Williams held this first Pan-African conference. They've transformed part of it into a museum of African history. And there's history about African struggles in the Caribbean, in Trinidad, in Jamaica, in Barbados, in Guyana, even in places like Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic. All the way over in England, the state is sponsoring the preservation of African history to inspire the next generation of children. But over here in Trinidad, politicians are too worried about what other races will think about them if they try to promote any kind of black history. It's a shame, beloved. That's why we have to take up the mantle to do it. They don't want to honor Henry Sylvester Williams or George Padmore or CLR James or Kwame Ture. We have to do it. We have to take that initiative. And it's makes me so proud to be able to say in a forum of delegates from people all over the world to highlight and acknowledge, because they already know, that it was a black man from Trinidad, formerly named Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture, who popularized the phrase black power to the entire globe. But instead of embellishing these kinds of accomplishments, we stifle them, we censor them, we silence them. And you see that recent visit of the Indian Prime Minister to Trinidad? All I'm reflecting on, and I think differently, beloved. Yeah, a lot of people raised very legitimate objections about that visit. But all I'm thinking of, while all that was going on, is how we received Nelson Mandela at the airport when he came in comparison to the recent Prime Minister of India. We are required to look a lot more at ourselves. And I've always said this. Yes, there's a whole lot going on now, and it seems like 2025 is confirming in many ways that spite and revenge in politics is a major modus operandi. It has now become almost concretized and confirmed that the proper way to function or operate when there is a government change is, yes, you focus on developing the country, but a major mandatory part is to take revenge on those who were there before, try to bring up court cases, charges, issues of corruption and embezzlement, a lot which are true, a lot of them true, but there seems to be a kind of bloodlust or thirst for prosecution and character assassination of those who were there before, I guess all part of the long-term objective to keep them out and to keep you in. But it seems to be amplified to another level right now. Again, it always happens. I was making the point in a lecture that I did in South London a few weeks back that CARICOM and the Caribbean region had the Federation of the West Indies in 1958, CARIFTA, Caribbean Free Trade Area, in 1968. CARICOM was launched in 1973, but there were only 4 independent countries at the time. And then we were talking about the CSME, the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, which was launched in 2006. And that the CARICOM Single Market was launched immediately because we are one market in the Caribbean. But we're still yet to become one economy. And that was 2006. We're now in 2025. And we still are far away from becoming one economy because you have all these different currencies. And the countries with the strongest economies have the weakest dollars. Make that make sense. Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guyana are the biggest economies in the English-speaking Caribbean. But the Jamaican dollar is 140 to 1 US. The Guyanese dollar is $210 to 1 US. And the Trinidad dollar is 7 to 1 US. But all the smaller Caribbean islands, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, have the Eastern Caribbean dollar, which last time I checked was $2.67 to 1 US dollar. Now, but the point that I was making was the CSME was launched in 2006. But the idea was established at Grand Anse in Grenada in 1989, which means that it should have been the year after that, 1990, or for the latest 1991, or really late 1992, that we launched the CSME. But no, it was 17 years later. And one of the reasons for that is because of this culture of reversing the good work, the hard work, the achievements and the accomplishments of previous governments when a new government comes in for the sole purpose of strengthening the image of the new government and distorting and destroying the image of the last government. Now, again, we know a lot of terrible things happened, and when it comes to our last government, which for all intents and purposes in conversations like this we refer to sometimes as the black government, even though we know it was not a black party and that there was heavy influence of Caribbean white power in it. But the key point that we're making here is that we have to focus on how well we treat our people when we have those kinds of political offices. There wasn't a whole lot of talk about racial discrimination against African people or ethnic discrimination against African people or institutionalized racism, the absence of full, true, large, mega contracts and opportunities for African businessmen. You didn't allow the African bank, and you closed down, you deregistered tens of thousands of small African businesses. So while now our hearts are warmed to hear you talk about discrimination against African people, and we'll stand with you 100% on that. But I'm still concerned, I have to think, but if we give you back the power that you lost, will you be sounding like this when you get the power back? And I believe you will get it back. Or will you be sounding like how you were sounding when you were defending whites and defending Syrians and defending Chinese and defending French Creoles and insulting us Africans, telling us that they have what they have because they work hard, subtly suggesting that we don't have equal to what they have because we don't work hard. Meanwhile, we're the ones who are getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, leaving home at 6 o'clock in the morning for an 8 to 10 to 12 hour shift to come off that job to do another shift of some other job or even to drive taxi after working all day, juggling jobs. Who's working harder than that? No one is working harder than some African people who stay poor in the country. But our black politicians have told us we're not working hard enough, you see. We have to work like the whites and the Syrians and the Chinese and the French Creoles in order to get what they have, but you're working harder than them. But because your labor is taking place under a system of institutionalized oppression and exploitation, you can continue running on that water wheel going in a circle for as long as the system protects the interests and the wealth of that 1% elite. No matter how hard you work, you will continue to suffer under them. Now, there are no signs now that you're thinking like that as you're in opposition. But I want to know if when you get back into office, if you'll be thinking like this or if you'll be thinking like that. Because the public's relationship with black consciousness and government has largely been ceremonial. It's been imagery, it's been discussion, it's been festival and celebration, African clothes on public holidays and national acknowledgements, but the real hardcore land ownership, business entrepreneurship, economic opportunities, development, expanding and networking with our people, mega loans, that part of African consciousness has been missing from black politics. So I'm willing to support you 100% if you condemning the racism, the economic oppression, the ethnic cleansing of all of these state boards. I'm willing to stand with you 100% on that. But the question is, can I trust you for when you get back in that office? Are you going to once again turn your backs on us and become a servant to the local white community so that we have to get vexed again and vote one group out and vote another group in? Come on, we're tired of that. So we have to do as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, do for self. or suffer the consequences. And we must do for self because we are already suffering the consequences. And one of these days, you know what? I don't feel like saying it today, but one of these days, I'm going to talk about this whole funding issue. And that, beloved, it's so shameful. It's so shameful, beloved. But let me open up the telephone lines, beloved family. (342-0081) and 466-5391. And let's take our first call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning. I'm listening to the program, but you're a good person. You're trying to uplift the African community, which is good. But what you should really do, you should do something like what Sat Maharaj did. Not this Secretary General. This Secretary General, I don't know if he lives in dead. Sat Maharaj is a man went in to tell me when it was the baddest place with the parole brothers, and she to talk to them to see how they could have changed their life. Sat Maharaj went in to Takrikwa, and Billy and them was playing bad, the Indians, and changed their life. What you should do as an educated and an intelligent black person, if you really want to help the black people in Trinidad, because the Creole people, I know it as Creole people, I live among them, very good, decent, and nice one, right? Now, get them to the places America, Canada, and England have it on papers and on news. Do not go to these places. Lavanti, Beaton, I can't remember where we. Try as an educated man and a religious man and get a few of your brothers with you and get into those places where you find the lacking of religious education. Religious education. They study the rich man and that one day, and that one was in England and he rich day, and that one had business to work for that. They sacrifice. Now try and get into those places and try and educate those fellas on religion and religious, and they would be something like you. That is what they really need, do like what Sat Maharaj did. Our Archbishop of our religion is almost 90 years. And any part of Trinidad we have any prayers, he would find himself. It could be having COVID, it could be having war. Once is his district to do anything. So you is a great man, you're educated, and as you want to bring up your people, which is a good thing, try and get into those places so that when America, Canada, and England people come to Trinidad, they won't tell you don't go to those places and don't come to Trinidad. Because when Trinidadian leaving, whether it is Indian, African, who, they don't tell them don't go to England, don't go to America, don't go to Europe. Because right now, you see what Kojo is? Kojo realized that his whole life was racist talk. Everything for Kojo, Sergeant Kojo, was racist talk with Mr. Sat Maharaj. And he realized that was wrong. Watch where he is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my beloved sister. Thank you. I appreciate your call. I don't agree, though, and I never did agree with the idea of being like Sat Mirage. Most certainly in some ways, absolutely. But I don't believe that he had love and compassion in his heart for all peoples. I believe in his heart resided a brand of bitterness and loathing for African people. And I don't have that in my spirit for anyone. I love my people. I don't hate others. And I know that there are those who interpret love for black as hatred for white. That is not necessarily so. I used to hear Sat Mirage speak all kinds of lies about me, personally, on the radio. And the reason I can openly say this is because I heard him with my own ears tell his public that I, David Muhammad, have trained in Iraq, in Syria, and he did say Saudi Arabia, which I went to for the first time a couple years after that. But he had spread a lot of untruths. I also heard him say that African people have never built anything, include not even a foul coop for the children. And of course, we have built the Kwame Ture Center. So in that regard, yes, of course, I understand that, but not in a lot of ways. I don't admire him at all. Cole, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Yes, good morning. It's Mohammed.
Yes, go ahead. We have the ads coming up, but I have to ask you to call us back as soon as the break is over.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix some monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quick.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBGames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
The time is now 8 a.m. This time check is sponsored by Lambeau Credit Union. Always here for you.
Light up your weekends at Vibes Nightclub, Tobago's hottest spot. 3 epic nights of music and energy await every Thursday. Karaoke Thursdays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Grab the mic, unleash your inner star, and sing all night. Beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and giveaways for the best singers. Every Friday, Limers Fridays. Kick off at 8 p.m. with free entry. Vibes with your crew and enjoy beers on special for $10, 2 Campari for $25, and 2 White Oak for $25. Every Saturday, Raw Saturdays. Everything goes, nothing but good vibes, free entry, and an all-star DJ cast to bring the vibes. Vibes Nightclub is where Tobago shines. Join us Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for music, fun, and unforgettable nights. Don't miss out. Your weekend starts at Vibes.
Come shop at the biggest African market in the Caribbean with its African-inspired art, craft, jewelry, clothing, books, delicious food. We're at the Queen's Park Savannah, transformed into the Lidjasu Omuwale Emancipation Village for the 2025 Pan-African Festival TT, commemorating emancipation, July 25th to August 1st. Also, enjoy jazz, pan, calypso, reggae, dance, drumming, bois, art exhibits, and for the children, the African Heritage Camp and workshops. The village opens 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Free admission before 3 p.m. Just $40 after. Kids under 12, free all day. Bring your family, your friends, your vibes, and let's celebrate the 187th anniversary of emancipation, our heritage and future together. The Emancipation Support Committee, shaping sustainable futures through reparatory justice.
This Java, get ready to chase the crunch with KFC. Dip it, dunk it, and drip it with our juiciest chicken tenders ever for as low as $29.95.
It's Java, it's summertime. KFC makes it all come alive. Big lines turn into big appetites. Hit the beach with KFC. Yeah.
Choose our hot and spicy or extra crispy non-spicy tenders and dip, dunk, and drip into our flavorful sauces, Java style.
To the spice of the summer, let's go.
So, chase the crunch and make Java finger-licking good with KFC.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282 or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on The Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
Here's my life, I lay it on the altar. Here's my life.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
Men, women, tired of the invasive, painful old methods of testing prostate and breasts?
The Institute of Health and Fitness Clinic and Wellness Center offers comprehensive and non-invasive diagnostic testing, which indicates the nature and extent of diseases and tests your nutritional levels. Our quick testing can identify early signs of problems by evaluating many of the bodily functions, such as male and female sexual function, gastrointestinal function, liver function, kidney function, thyroid function, heart and brain function, and also cancer testing. Results are comparable with other medical lab tests without the use of needles or embarrassing specimen cups, and is pain-free. We also offer all natural treatments. Visit us now at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna, or call 492-7397 or 289-6363.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health, performance, and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079, or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
live on the street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
So there's a need for brotherhood.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is demanded.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential, it is urgent, and it is compulsory. But the time demands brotherhood. Whenever the dominant white society fears for its economic future, racial tensions are always aggravated. The aim of Almighty God is to bring the black man and woman together. The aim of Almighty God is that we, no matter how divided we have been in the past, must experience unity in order to gain the success that we seek and the progress that we desire. There is no way that a divided people can build a future. Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. So there's a need for brotherhood. But if you walked because you think you already know, and how in the hell could you know and be in the shape that we're in? How can there be any brotherhood if there's not even the honoring of a word?
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
But the Quran and the Bible bear witness that the heavens and the earth were created with truth.
Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential. It is urgent and it is compulsory.
Welcome back. And welcome to the second hour of the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM on this lovely Saturday morning. There was, I don't know how to describe it, but like a smog. It wasn't mist or fog. It wasn't that usual obscurance of light that you see sometimes coming out of the landfill. There was a very thick kind of, it looked like smoke, but I don't think it was smoke, covering Port of Spain on entering this morning. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but it looked like smoke, but I don't think it was regular smoke because you didn't see it coming from anywhere in particular. But it's still a beautiful Saturday morning by Allah's grace. And I want to invite you out tomorrow. Again, bring the family, bring the young ones. Let the children learn this particular history tomorrow from 12 noon at the Kwame Ture Center. 125 years of Pan-Africanism. It's going to be a roller coaster ride of information. Now, it's the emancipation season. Of course, we normally do a special presentation on the last Sunday before emancipation. But we're going to have all these books, Black Studies and Knowledge is Power, at a special discounted price, giving you the opportunity to get some copies and distribute them, because you could learn all about Henry Sylvester Williams and George Padmore and C.L.R. James in both Black Studies and Knowledge is Power. So we're going to have them on specials tomorrow. And we also have a surprise, something to unveil, which is, I guess, something educational, but something that, inshallah, after all of us listening this morning are gone and new generations come in, that will be unveiling tomorrow will still be standing for us to be educated by it. It's really magnificent. I myself have not seen it live in person as yet, but I mean, I know what it is. But you want to be there for that special moment, beloved family. And yeah, it's going to be a great day tomorrow, inshallah. All right, so let's go back to the phone lines. 342-0081 and 466-5391. I still want to say something about this state of emergency and a couple other things. But, caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm right here, Brother David.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry about what happened before.
Well, glad to hear you live once again on your the program that you attended to in England, I wait, eyes, ears, and mouth open, waiting to really see what is the progress, because Mr. Farrakhan always saying it. Brotherhood is demanded. Unity is nothing to be slighted right now. It is important for Africans to really get together, and knowing our history and not what is given to us is the true way of getting our victory or our freedom in these times. Because, Brother David, it takes a lot for people to really understand what is going on, because politicians, be it home or abroad, they do not care about Africans and their welfare, Brother David. I'm saying that without apology. I don't care how much nice word they just come and tell you, but they do not care.
Yep.
None do not care. Even in Africa, because we could only see that Traore, Goti, and Chiavi, they are the ones who leading the fort against colonialism and neo-colonialism, because that is what we're going through right now, Brother David. They're bringing us back into a state of dependency on these nations, Europe and America. This is what they're trying to bring us back to. And we as Africans must step forward in going forward. I can say more, but I love to hear other people comments also. But thanks for you coming, ready, getting this program going. I hope that it will reach far. I will try to make it tomorrow, but I have commitments now, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay?
I hear you, but I also hope that you make it a top priority to be there, because it will be a very special moment. Beloved brother.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All right.
3420081 and 4665391. As we move towards our 125 years of Pan-Africanism, and we're able to witness on the global scale how much of a single community we are and can be. Another thing that we have to talk about, maybe later on next month I'll get more into it, but the fact that next year is the World Cup, okay? And it's already destiny that a team from the Caribbean will be in the World Cup. It's not might be. A team from the Caribbean will be in the World Cup, because I think for CONCACAF, our region, there are 6 groups of 4, and the winning team in each of the 6 groups of 4 automatically goes to the World Cup. And our group is 4 Caribbean teams. So that would be Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Curacao, and Bermuda. And one of those 4, all teams that we've beaten before, we can do it, but it's going to take a lot. Caller, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Yes. I'm glad you're talking about the issues that you addressed this morning.
Yes, sir.
But this country we live in, African people under siege. We under a lot of pressure. What happened when the new government take office? A lot of poor people from URP and CPEP gets fired. And we as African people under a lot of pressure. I like what Chare is doing.
Who?
Chare. In Africa.
Yes, of course.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
But some of the other African countries still under colonialism and under white pressure.
Yes.
Right? So they may want to change and join Chare
Ibrahim.
in the fight against, I would say, apartheid, because that's still going on. It's still going on under different forms. And what I want, all the other African countries have to follow Chare.
And they will, slowly but surely, because you're seeing Niger and Mali in a union with Burkina Faso and other countries under consideration, proposals being made. And not only that, but connecting with communities across and outside of Africa. So it's happening. We just have to speed it up and not slow it down.
Right. That one issue. The other one is the African Bank. Nobody wants to address that. That's very important for African people.
Well, listen, do you know that, so I would have spent...
In Trinidad, I'm talking about...
Yeah, I know. So I would have spent almost 2 years rallying for this bank, for our last government to welcome the bank, and you had all these reasons being given. Now, one of those videos that I did really spread across the Caribbean, and I got a lot of feedback from it in different countries. And, well, whether or not that has something to do with it, I don't know, but the consciousness has been spreading. And the government of Jamaica.
Yeah, they already have a bank.
Which just leaves us now.
Yes, they already have a bank.
Yeah, but
sometime this year they do that.
Just accepted the agreement. So it was Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago that were resisting. And Jamaica finally gave in and said, okay. But I spoke to someone from this government before they got into office about it. I actually put forth a question. What is your party's position on this matter of the African Bank? And I got 2 responses. One was, we're looking into it. But the second response, and all of this would have been before the election, because, you know, it's kind of different, your accessibility to such persons before and after an election sometimes. But after the election, just before the election, I was told that there was some meeting. And there was, because I did see that they did interface with, I think he's the chairman of the bank. So a conversation has taken place. To what extent discussions went, I don't know. But what I'm saying here is our part is to continue putting the pressure.
Yeah.
We can't give up on these things. We have to continue applying the pressure. All right, and we have not stopped doing that. We have to continue raising the matter. And we also have to pass on these kinds of issues to the younger generation so that when they come in, you know, imagine England is passing a law to lower the voting age to 16 years old.
Yeah.
And they would have only considered that after looking at the kinds of activities, the conversations, youth forums, youth parliaments that you have with those who are between the ages of 16 and 18. And many of them are very, very passionate about a lot of social issues and social concerns. A lot of the young people between the ages of 16 and 18 believe in different causes. They believe in donating to certain kinds of charities. They believe in helping and assisting, especially with the whole Israel-Palestine conflict and the genocide that Israel is committing against the Palestinians. You have a lot of 16-year-olds who are very, very passionate about these things. And it's felt if we get younger people more involved in modern-day issues, politics would be very different. And a lot of them are also, I mean, no disrespect to anyone, but they're a lot less spiteful. Some of the older people in politics, nothing would come out of their mouths except bad talking, backbiting, backstabbing, complaining, and arguing about things to make their party look good and the other party look bad. That's a large volume of what we hear from them.
Listen,
a lot of the 16-year-olds, they don't think like that.
No. Listen, this government will remove property tax. You remove the property tax.
Right, which was a good thing.
A very good thing.
Yeah.
They know why they're doing that. They have some ulterior motive.
Well, possibly. But,
right?
But it's not healthy to assume an ulterior motive before identifying one. Now, if we
well, everybody know why.
Sorry,
I don't want to mention it.
No, tell me.
We had a problem before. With land.
Yeah.
And you know what it's about. You know what it's about.
Which land in particular?
People property. Land where they have with the bland food.
Yeah, yeah. Are you talking about a specific case or in general?
When this government was in office before,
yeah,
we had a lot of problem with African people with the land. We had problem with that.
Right, as we have always had, yes.
So I don't know. The government ain't less revenue do. They ain't less revenue because of that.
Okay.
When the PNO was in office, they was collecting that. No government around the world can function properly without collecting tax.
Without collecting tax, but not necessarily property tax. I mean, I think the average citizen in Trinidad and Tobago pays a larger proportion of tax in comparison to the services that they receive from the state.
Yes.
So I think we deserve to be given some kind of rebate for the amount of tax that we pay.
Yes.
And also the spirit of vengeance on citizens when it comes to things like being charged and fined and ticketed for various offenses. It's vengeance against the public.
The poor people especially.
But the poor people only, I would say. But thank you for calling, my dear brother. Hope to see you tomorrow at the Touré Center. Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, I'll try to come.
Thank you, sir. Caller, good morning.
Blessed morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
And we know our government, we was in power. Dr. Rollis, he was the blackest man at Tobago. He ever give out any land? The piece of land, where you get it? Who give you that piece of land? The land in Trin City, where the honorable boss, where partner they give way. Dr. Rollis come and take the land to go get a Indian businessman the land. Dr. Rollis went on a platform for emancipation, say he disappointing African communities, and they never uplift the African communities. Look, you're doing a good job of the encourage with the man with a ban. A very good freedom fighter. They didn't call him an honor. He the ban he from Trinidad and Tobago, and his Bazio Pando who lift the ban and bring him back.
Well, Pandey himself didn't lift the ban, but he did welcome him back.
But brother, but they've been celebrating we celebrated emancipation for the last 40-something years. The PNM rule Trinidad and Tobago. We never piece of land as we own to sell emancipation day. We rented a tent every year, and who making the money? We have to be real with ourselves. We have to look with the bank. Right? Look, Jamaica didn't send to the bank, Trinidad and Tobago didn't send to the bank. I hear you was lobbying for the last government to bring the bank here, Jamaica sign on. So they're looking for this government to send us for the bank. And as a black bank to uplift black.
I admit to you, it would look really badly on the part of the last government if this government brings in the bank. But let me tell you something that I want us to be mindful of.
Yeah, my brother.
And these are the kinds of traps that we have to avoid falling in. Okay? Because I mean, you know how the opposition politics goes. Once the government does something, the opposition traditionally opposes it, right? Except on very few occasions. One of the only ones I remember that both parties agreed on was the discount on the luxury vehicles, right? Getting the taxpayers to pay, I think, up to 50% of their luxury vehicles. That's the only thing I remember that both parties fully agreed on. But here what could be a real trap. If the UNC government, for example, were to announce that, okay, we're bringing in the African Bank, which is committed to assisting and empowering African businesses, would the PNM in opposition fall into the trap of saying, no, we don't want the bank here? Because UNC are bringing it in.
No.
You see where the trap comes in?
Bank.
They need to be prepared to say, yes, we support this 100%, and we were about to do it. Because I know a lot of senior members of the People's National Movement were very unhappy about that arrangement. As a matter of fact, all the people that I know in the PNM wanted the bank to be established in Trinidad. To me, the only people who did not want the African Bank in Trinidad was the 1%. Because remember, this is the difference between the African community and African politics and the Indian community and Indian politics. The Indian community, through business and a customer base, can support themselves. All right? But when it comes to African politics, which is largely financed by local whites, the local white community need a large volume of African people to be poor, landless, propertyless, and not investing in their own businesses. That's the only way that they can be guaranteed the kind of consistent stream of economic support from African people. And unfortunately, within the last few years, African politicians have positioned us economically to continue to support white business while we are being denied of business opportunities ourselves. And you see, if you look at both governments, there tends to be, so the last government, I don't think would have done a drastic move like this with the CPEP workers. So this issue with tens of thousands or 10,000 CPEP workers being fired, that should have been made a priority for everyone to keep their jobs while it's being restructured. But don't restructure it in such a way that people lose their jobs. There must be a way. There's always a way. There's always a way to put people first. But they were probably hoping that if we fire 10,000 plus CPEP workers who were employed by contractors who were supporters of the PNM government, then maybe the people will get angry with the last government instead of this one. That did not happen. So if that was their plan, that backfired. But I don't think the last government would have done that to all of these people. But what the last government would have done is ensure that a large volume of African people have jobs, but are not creating jobs. And that's where the difference comes in. No government wants African people to become economically empowered, entrepreneurship, land ownership, business control. No government wants that for African people. But in particular, and this might sound cynical as hell, but Allah, Almighty God, Allah knows that this is the truth that I believe. The PNM government does not want African people to be business entrepreneurs. The UNC government does not want African people to be landowners. End of story. The last government does not want us to prosper in business. This government, and I'm talking about elements in each one, not necessarily as the policy of the government. This government does not want African people to be empowered through land ownership, control of real estate. Do you know how many African people are paying rent to non-African landlords? And if that arrangement were to ever switch, the kind of economic destabilization there would be? In the same way that if an African chain of supermarkets were to open to rival the major supermarkets and shopping malls owned by non-African people, it would cause an economic collapse among the 1%, in the same way that if African people started building and constructing their own homes, buying and selling from each other and renting from one another, and engaging in real estate contracts with other African people, that would cause another kind of economic collapse among non-Africans. And both of them politically are looking at us African people in a fish bowl, micro-examining our financial activity and the level of responsibility that we take for the decisions that we make. And we are like the football. We're like that white ball on the pool table, just being used to knock each other out and knock each other down in one big game of keeping Africans poor so that other ethnic groups can get and stay rich. And that's the truth that's in my heart, beloved. But thank you for calling. Caller, do we have another caller on the line?
Yeah, Mr. Good.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Good morning to you, Brother Mohammed.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you very clearly, but...
Yeah, Mr. Good morning to you. You hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you, Brother Mohammed.
Greetings.
I look on this morning personally because I know that every time this time come around, you give a tutorial, but I come on like minister about 5 to 7. So I do not know if you give the tutorial on General, the 5-star General Abu Bakr. Did you give any the tutorial on him? Did you discuss it?
Not as yet, but you know that's always in my heart anyway.
Yes, so that is why I look on this one, because I know you have given a history about what takes place and what meant to this thing, what disaster. Well, let me say...
I'm glad you referred to him as a 5-star general.
He are a 5-star general. He are. What he did for this country, there is something what it stay in my heart, and it will always stay in my heart, because he's a brother, he's a father, he's a grandfather, he's a brother for all of Trinidad and Tobago. And
let me just say this, not to interrupt you, but I mean, I appreciate the brother and everything, but there's a brother who around this time does this march, which I don't support. I've had many conversations with him about it. I don't understand. I don't understand it. I think it doesn't send the right message considering the reasoning behind July 27, 1990. And I don't support that march because it focuses on, of course, and again, I am in agreement with commemorating the lives of those lost, not at the hands of the Muslims, because it was the police who did all the killing, not the Muslims.
So facts, yes. Yes.
But I think the country, there were much more victims of the state leading up to why July 27th happened. And I think that deserves more of a public recognition than the quantity of persons whose lives that were lost. I know, it would have probably been a traumatic experience for him as an individual. I can appreciate that.
Yes.
But the reasoning behind that, I don't support.
The hate still after 30-something years, it's not nice. It's hate in his heart because I quite a hate match. I hate work against a good man, a 5-star general who stand up for poor people. As I tell Baraka yesterday, his son, that it have a song called Coco, say a prayer for Baraka. And I always say a prayer for Baraka at this time. Always say a prayer for Baraka because this fish, she does tell it all. He stand up for poor. He make a way for me, you and everybody in this country for poor people. It wasn't about Muslim. It was poor people being oppressed, was being pushed back, was being left behind. Today, this how we, how we is today. We did not stand up with the 5-star general. May God bless his soul wherever you are, in the God of house, wherever you are, may God bless his soul. We did not stand up as Chinbagolans, as Chinese. We stand up against the wrongdoing. The politicians set them out. The civil service country set them out. Because it will be a better country today. It wasn't to come back a Muslim state. Politicians know what was going to take
that
place.
was never part of the intention.
No, it was never part of the attention. So when I say I hate work against him, I must say, I think that when there was making sense, but over the years, I realized it makes no sense what he's doing. No sense. So, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
And wherever you are, you do a good job in Trinidad and Tobago. You did not go after the poor people. You went for justice, you went for peace, you went for love, and you went for faith. It have a video where Isam Al-Baka was talking in the price.
Yes.
I never heard that video. I was crying.
Pleading with the young men to put down the guns.
Oh God! But I never heard that video. I just cry. I now listen to the Coco and I listen to that because this is the spirit that's movement. And I mean, when I hear that video, I cry because he mean this gentleman. Last time I got robbed, I didn't know the mister know me. I got robbed around my area here on Simple Street. Wrong day I was going. I was crossing the road. Right. And he said, "Where are Kingsley? Kingsley doesn't talk for." Well, by 2 hours after, I get back, mostly everything was in the person in the bag. He said, "Oh, Rob Kingsley." He said, "Oh, you're mad, Rob Kingsley." He said, "Kingsley, they were really crying, talking for you every single day." And I was, "Oh, they do Kingsley." He said, "No." And he called me. Day before he died, he told me, "Come and check him." And I did not go and check him. And it hurt me because I know some wisdom he didn't have to tell me before he died. And he said, "Kingsley, come and check me in Mokomapo." And as I leave, I want to tell him that Mokomapo must, or you feel Abu Bakr, or you feel or your Imam, or you take that must and take it to your personal thing, or you feel the children of Imam, or you feel the history of Imam. That must in Mokomapo Day. That legacy we fight for. We fight for. I want to tell all your Imam today in that mosque down there. Abu Bakr will be turning in his grave to see what will they do. And I know they're shame. You see what will they do? Abu Bakr's son, and whatever, will you go ahead? Abu Bakr turning in his grave.
Right. So I, as you know, stand in 100% support of my brother Fuad, but that's a very personal matter to raise.
Yeah, I know. I just, because I know. I tell you, I'm a family there now.
Hello. Okay, but thanks for calling though. I'm not hearing you. Not sure if you got cut off, but thank you for calling. Caller, are you there? We have another caller on the line. Caller?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Abu Bakr was a great man. He stand up for the poor and the oppressed.
Everyone knows this.
You understand? And we as African people and poor people should really thank Abu Bakr for all the good things he has been doing in helping poor black people. And we have to really show respect to Fuad and Abu Bakr family. He was a good man. He was a just man. He was a caring man.
Yes.
So, let me not forget Abu Bakr at all.
Yes.
Let me pray for his family so they can continue the struggle and continue to do what Abu Bakr used to do when he was alive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
You is doing a good job. You want to see that your people come out of poverty, but you have to see they come out of crime too. But how long ENM, which is African man, ruled Trinidad and Tobago? When Eric William was there, all was booming. Don't blame Robinson. He was a good man. Under the coup, we went good. Yes, Robinson wasn't doing nobody wrong thing. Under Chambers, it was not bad. Under Panday, the camera, it was not bad. But what was wrong with Manning?
There are arguments and opinions both for and against each of these persons.
What was wrong with Eric Williams? But one thing that Rowley said, which is good, he said people have to help themselves. So if when they kidnap that woman and had that woman 8 days and calling the woman is that even a businesswoman, her sister, who got shot? Who got shot? Was it a white man, a Chinese, an Indian man, or Syrian? Go to the countryside, you will see the condition of the poor Indians and the poor Africans that are working. They will work and they will live in a little house, but you are seeing them in that. Yeah? So according to one thing our research is good, get up and help yourself. So you cannot blame Kama, you can't blame Pandey, you can't blame Robinson, because they was only 5 years. All the time it was ruling But the thing is, plenty people like hands out and free thing. Now, the seabed workers, look right now, they offer jobs and permanent jobs to take care of people in the hospitals at all parts of Trinidad. Right now, when Rowley was there, the second workers were fired. The iron scrapyard, there was six really a year, and they was living there in prison. The poor people that was in the pipeline, they had family to see about, and they had to get lawyers. When Manning was there, if I sat Sharma, if I David Farage, the fighting case and win it, there was only firing and closing down things. When Kennedy Limited went home, who sent them home? So people had to rise to help themselves. Don't watch the Syrian man. You don't see a Syrian, a Chinese, or a good Indian, 2 and 3 days for carnival, because they study in the business. So Rowley said one thing good, help yourself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Caller, are you there? Caller? Caller? Okay, I'm hearing the line open. Caller, good morning.
Morning, brother. Sorry about that.
We're getting awkward feedback. Go ahead.
Yes, sorry.
It's all right.
A brother, Jamaica, I think it was he said, there's a line in a song that he said, woe to black and white oppressors, apartheid dividers, rulers. And Brother Bob went on to also share with us to say that they say what we know, it's just what they tell us. And we're so ignorant that every time they can reach us. And so political strategies, they keep us hungry. And we know all the rest of the song goes. In my opinion, Brother Robinson, he was more focused on power. That's how I view that man during his reign. And he attempted to create some legacy and to leave his mark in such a way that it actually affected the Trinidad and Tobago economy, the social life of the people, and many other things. And my view on that coup, that while it did not go the way it was planned, because there was people looking at the state of the economy. There were people who was looking at the empowerment of black people and the provisions on behalf of the poor and all these things. They just were there. The hospitals was in a mess, and many social programs and things like that was assist the less fortunate. Those things was not implemented, and somebody had to do what they had to do. The coup may have not come across as many have expected, but that was a period of time that this country needed a rude awakening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, 100%. And when you look at, and see, the sad thing about history is what goes down in the history is what happened itself on July 27th, 1990 at the Red House and at the television station. But what is not recorded in the history was the fact that you had new terms that were introduced to the public of Trinidad and Tobago, such as VAT, value added tax. We did not know about that before.
Thank you very much, David.
Sorry? Things like VAT, the cost of living allowance, the 10% was taken away. The St. Vincent de Paul's registry of poor families almost tripled. You had retrenchment, voluntary separation. It was like a mass financial chaos. And in addition to that, they say, I think Professor Selwyn Ryan referred to the straw that broke the camel's back as our brother, former Minister of Health, Dr. Emmanuel Hossain, who gave Imam Yassin Abu Bakr a list of all of the medicines that were needed in the hospitals desperately that the government could not get. And Imam Yassin Abu Bakr got all these medicines in to Trinidad and was donating them to the government. This would have been from Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, who is a great instrument in Pan-Africanism as well. And, I mean, great man as he was, our former Prime Minister A.N.R. Robinson refused the medicine. Now, who suffers from that? No one but the sick people in the hospitals who needed those medicines. No one else suffered from that. And I remember Dr. Ryan referred to that as the straw that broke the camel's back in the July 27, 1990 coup. And also, of course, the invasion on a more private level of the compound, the disrespect of the Muslim woman. That's insane. Listen. Oh, man. There's a whole lot that I could say about that, but you cannot disrespect a Muslim woman, or any woman for that matter, but in particular, you cannot disrespect a Muslim woman and expect there not to be some kind of repercussion for that. And the way that some of what had happened with some of the members of the protective services and their disrespect of the Muslim woman, it was a recipe. Anyway, beloved family, this is where I leave it. Remember, tomorrow from 12 noon at the Kwame Ture Center, we have a mind-blowing 125-year history discourse of multiple events that would have empowered African people. Kwame Ture Center, 12 noon tomorrow. Don't miss it. Bring out the family, bring out the young ones. Stay tuned to the Street 919 FM. Assalamu alaikum.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility?